Alright, hello everybody, it's Todd with All Things Archery and Shooting, and we're in part 2 of our review on this Kainokai Takedown Recurve. I got this bow on Amazon for $59.99 shipped to my door with Amazon Prime. Took one day to ship it here. I mean, basically for $60, the bow is, it's kind of hard to beat for $60. It comes with an aluminum magnesium handle. It's got bamboo limbs with black fiberglass on the belly and the front of it. Comes with a D97 fast flight. Comes with all the mounting components for your bow. You got sights here. You got your stabilizer here. You got your button here you can put in. I went ahead and added a off-the-shelf rest for this. We can shoot off the shelf. This bow is supposed to be 60 inches, which is exactly right, and 40 pounds at 28 inches. Okay, so at my draw length, which is 29 inches, the bow comes in at 44 pounds, and the actual weight of this bow at 28 inches comes in just over 41 pounds, almost 41 and a half according to my digital scale. So just a tad bit over what its recommended weight is. Brace height in this bow is between 7.5 and 8.5. I got it set right at about 7 3/4 inches. See how that works? The bow came with, like I said, D97 string. It came with a hair rest, a black horsehair rest. I don't like those, so I put one of these types of rests on there. And overall, we're gonna run this bow through its paces today. We're gonna shoot through the chronograph here, and then we're also gonna shoot on our 3D range and also on my target back here. Let's see how it shoots accuracy-wise. Most of the shooting will be done at 20 yards, except for the chronograph, which I'll be standing about 10 feet in front of the chronograph when I'm shooting for a velocity test. And we're going to do that first, all right? The tiller on it came out perfect. I checked the tiller on both top limb and lower limb. They're within barely about 1/8 of an inch, a little less than 1/8 of an inch of each other, so they're right on the money. So there's no twist in the limbs. Only complaint I have about this bow is it's a little bit heavy. This bow comes in almost 3 pounds instead of like your standard 2.5 pound bow. This is just over 3 pounds 4 ounces for this bow. So a little bit heavy of a bow, mostly because of that aluminum magnesium handle. All right. Also, what's cool is this bow does come with reinforced tips, so we can use fast flight string on it. And like I said, it did come with a D97 fast flight string. I confirmed that with the manufacturer. That is in fact a D97 fast flight string. Now you think about that, a D97 fast flight, were to purchase it separate, runs about $15 to $20 depending where you buy it from. So essentially, you got a $15 string on a bow that costs $60. I don't know how they make these bows for this much, for that cheap. But let's see how she performs, okay? All right, we're gonna do the chronograph first. Let me get set up for that. Okay. All right, everybody, we're gonna go ahead and move to the velocity stage, see how fast this bow can launch these arrows over this chronograph. I'll be shooting 10 foot in front of the chronograph, and the chronograph's about 5 yards in front of the target, okay? The bow we're going to be testing on is this Kainokai Takedown Recurve 60-inch bow. It's a 40-pound bow at 28 inches draw, but at my draw length 20 inches, I'm pulling 43, almost 44 pounds, just under 44 pounds. All right, the 3 arrows we're going to be using, I have some really super light arrows here. These are carbon arrows. They weigh 360 grains each. That translates to 8 grains per pound. This one here, we'll shoot 3 of those. Next arrow are these, my standard 5/16 cedar shafts. These are spine 40 to 45 pounds. This arrow weighs in at 450 grains. That is 10.22 grains per pound. Okay. All arrows use feathers on them. The last arrow is my hunting weight arrow. This is a heavy arrow, okay? This arrow here weighs in at 580 grains. Okay, it has a 125 grain point plus a 50 grain converter point insert, so I can screw standard points into this. So the total weight of this arrow is 580 grains. That translates to 13.818 grains per pound, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and run 3 arrows each across these and see how fast we can get it moving. Okay, everybody. All right, we're going to go into the checking the speed across this chronograph here on these arrows. I got 3 different arrow weights to try out on this here Kainokai bow. We're going to be shooting 3 different arrow weights through this Kainokai. Ow, splinter. Stop, rewind, redo. Okay, everybody, this is Todd. All things rewind. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started on shooting these arrows to this chronograph here. I have 3 different arrow weights. We're going to be shooting to this Kainokai bow here, this $60 bow. That, remember, this bow is on, my draw length is 44 pounds, 29 inches at 44 pounds, or actually when we get technical, it's 43, rewind. Okay. All right, buddy, we're going to go ahead and move to the velocity stage, see how fast this bow can launch these arrows over this chronograph. I'll be shooting 10 foot in front of the chronograph, and the chronograph's about 5 yards in front of the target, okay? The bow we're going to be testing on is this Kainokai Takedown Recurve 60-inch bow. It's a 40-pound bow at 28 inches draw, but at my draw length 20 inches, I'm pulling 43, almost 44 pounds, just under 44 pounds. All right, the 3 arrows we're going to be using, I have some really super light arrows here. These are carbon arrows. They weigh 360 grains each. That translates to 8 grains per pound. This one here, we'll shoot 3 of those. Next arrow are these my standard 5/16 cedar shafts. These are spined 40 to 45 pounds. This arrow weighs in at 450 grains. That is 10.22 grains per pound. Okay. All arrows use feathers on them. The last arrow is my hunting weight arrow. This is a heavy arrow, okay? This arrow here weighs in at 580 grains. Okay, it has a 125 grain point plus a 50 grain converter point insert, so I can screw standard points into this. So the total weight of this arrow is 580 grains. That translates to 13.818 grains per pound, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and run 3 arrows each across these and see how fast we can get it moving. Okay, first I'm going to start with, I'm going to get you set up here so you can see the chronograph better. Okay, first arrow is the carbon arrow. These are the lightweight 360 grain arrows. Now these arrows are not spined correctly for this bow. These are a 400 spine arrow, but that's the lightest arrow I have on hand, so let's see how they shoot. First arrow, 186. Boy, is that thing loud. Second arrow, 196. Wow, that's unbelievable. Let's try that again. $198. No, we got to do this over again. That's just crazy. Let's do this over again. That cannot be right. Almost 200 feet per second from a $60 bow. I'm not really sure that's correct. Let's try that again. All right, here we go. 10 foot in front of the chronograph, shooting 360 grain arrows. Let's see how fast this thing flies. 196. $191. $192. Okay, next up will be the 450 grain arrows that I have. Let's see how they shoot. I'll be 10 foot in front of the chronograph, 5 yards from the target. Let's see how it shoots. 3 arrows. 179. 173. 174. 176. Okay. Last up is going to be the heavy hunting arrows. These are the 580 grain arrows. See how they shoot. .166. .158. .165. Wow. 158, 166, 165. Is that correct? 165. I just want to try this 360 grain carbon arrow one more time. Cannot believe we're getting over 195 feet per second through this chronograph out of this $60 bow at 44 pounds. This just boggles my mind. So let's see how we do. There it is, folks, 198. I don't believe it. 198 feet per second out of this 360 grain carbon arrow. That just boggles the mind. Okay, let's review. These carbon arrows that weigh 360 grains are coming out of this bow at 191, 196, and 198. That's just amazing. I mean, for a $60 bow at 44 pounds at my draw length of 29 inches, that just blows my mind. It really does. I mean, that is super, super fast for a $60 takedown recurve from Amazon. I mean, I don't know what to say. 450 did pretty well too. I mean, seriously, 450 arrows. Whoops, wrong one, Todd. There you go. The 450 grain arrows. These are my go-to arrows, my standard 5/16 arrow I shoot in most of my 40 to 45 pound bows. And these weigh in at 450 grains. That's about 10.22 grains per pound, and they came in at 173, 176, and 179. That's respectable for a 44 pound bow. These big boys now. These big boys that weigh 580 grains. That's 13 grains per pound. That is a lot of weight. And mostly these are heavy because these are my hunting shafts. These use a 125 grain point. Then I have a 50 grain converter point insert that actually turns your wood arrows. You can screw in standard modern points to it. So I've got 175 grains up front. And this whole arrow together weighs 580 grains. And this thing came out of my bow at 158. 161 and 165. Again, respectable for a heavyweight arrow out of a 44 pound bow. Wow, pretty impressive. Okay, let's move on to the shooting stage. We're gonna move over here to my my 3D hog target, and then we'll move over to my white-tailed deer target and put some arrows on target and see how she shoots accurate wise. All right, let's get set up for that and be right back with you. Okay, I'm going to step off to 20 yards. We're going to see how she shoots. We're going to train for this spot right here. I'm going to shoot 5 arrows and pull them, shoot 5 more for a total of 10 and see how we hit. Here we go. Whew. Okay, that was my first 5-round warm-up. Pretty good sized group, probably 6 inches, maybe 7 inches at 20 yards. Like I said, I'm not used to this bow yet, so let's shoot it some more. I will say one thing, it is loud. You can hear that thunk. I'm sure you hear all the way over here. My camera's probably about 10 yards from the back. I got it on zoom, and I'm 10 yards behind the camera. But I'm pretty sure you can hear that thunk. This bow is really loud. I think that has a lot to do with this metal riser. Okay, that's a little bit better, a little bit low. I had 2 flyers on, let's get rid of these 2, but I think I'm finally getting used to it. So let's try one more round and see how it looks. All right, one more round. There we go. Okay. There you go. There's five arrows and about 4 inches right there. Not too bad. A little more extra practice with this bow and sure it'll shoot better. But like I said, let's move over to the hog target now and see how she shoots on that. Okay, this is my Field Logic 3D target. These are great targets. They run about $100 a piece and they take a lot of shots, so good target to shoot at. Aiming right here. I'm going to step off 20 yards again and see how she shoots. Okay, except for that one flyer here, which I think was a bad release. The rest of them are pretty nice where they need to be at. Alright, again, I'm shooting this bow with these Portal for Seer 5/16. These are spined at 40 to 45 pounds. They have not been tuned to this bow at all. I just took them from my quiver, started shooting with them. And I bet you if I tuned this bow to these arrows, or I should say tune these arrows to this bow, it would shoot a lot better. I mean, for a $60 bow right out of the box, it is putting them where you want to put it, where you want them at. Let's do 5 more, see if we can do a little better. again, looks like I had one flyer. I'm at 20 yards. I have not figured out my gap on this bow yet either, so I'm just sort of winging and shooting instinctively. But I got 4 arrows within 3 inches. It seems to be shooting a little bit high to the right. That could be just because the arrows are not spined for it correctly. Might need a little heavier spine arrow. But let's do one more round and we'll go over the deer target. Okay, not too shabby. I'll tell you one thing, this arrow's blowing through this 3D target. This thing is storing a lot of energy for such a cheap bow. Well, I got all 5 arrows in the kill zone that time. I had to do a little Kentucky windage, change my aiming point, but they all hit it right here where they need to be at. All right, let's move over to the deer target now, see how we shoot on it. Okay, this is the Field Logic white-tailed deer 3D target. It's a 3/4 size deer, so it's not a full size. And I've shot it a lot, so but for this target it was $100, holds it real well. Let's see how we shoot with this bow at 20 yards so we can get them all in here we need to be at. I'm gonna step off 20 yards, and if we shoot about 10 arrows here, we'll do a little more shooting around, and then we'll come back and we'll talk more about this bow. Okay, not bad. I got them all on the vital. Let's step back and see if we can do a little better though. Let's shoot 5 more and see how we do. Okay. Not too bad. I had one outside the kill, which is right here. I missed the vitals on this one, but the rest are right there. Again, considering this bow is not completely tuned for this, these arrows not completely tuned for this bow, that's pretty decent shooting for 20 yards, considering I only shot the bow, what, maybe 50 times now in this video. I'm sure with a proper tuned arrow and some more practice, this bow is a lot more accurate on it. Let's just do some little wander around, do a little more shooting, and then we'll come back and talk. Okay, that's some pretty good shooting there. Let's walk down and check it out. Shot at 20 yards. Shooting a bag target. I think I'm finally getting the hang of this bow. Starting to feel much better wise, so. Okay. It's the best group of the day. 20 yards. That's 3 inches. I got 4 right in the black circle and 1 maybe an inch above it. So yeah, that's, again, I think once this bow gets tuned properly and you get some good arrows tuned for it, I think it'll be a really accurate bow for $60. But that was my best group of the day. All right, let's sit back and talk a little bit about what we got going on. Okay, let's talk about this bow now. I'll give you my thoughts on it, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and an overall review of this, okay? First off, what I like about this bow is the cost. I mean, $59.99 shipped to your door. You can't beat that no matter what you try to do. The fit and finish on the bow is very good. There's no casting marks, no sanding marks that I can see anywhere. The finish is outstanding on it. I mean, everything is fit correctly. I love the D97 fast life string that it comes with. That's really nice. It's a big plus. That's probably why it's so fast the way it is at 40 pounds or 44 pounds. Okay. Also has all the accessories you can add to it you want. You got your sight quivers over here. You got your bow quiver. You got your button there. You got your stabilizer or fishing reel you can put here. So I mean, this thing has a lot you can do with this bow. Okay. As for a target bow, I mean, shooting these arrows here, which are these 5/16 40 to 45 pound Port Orford cedar. I mean, they are not tuned for the bow. I didn't even tune the knock on this. I just put the knock in 1/8 inch above the rest and started shooting with it. I promise you, if I tuned these arrows and tuned this bow correctly, this thing would shoot a lot better than it was. It'll probably outshoot me. I mean, that last group that I showed you, that was less than 3 inches to 20 yards, and that's with an untuned bow and untuned arrow. So, can the bow shoot? Yes, it can shoot. What I don't like about it now, let's talk about what I don't like about it. It's not much, but there's a few things. I do not like the weight of it. At 3 pounds 4 ounces, it's very heavy. That's a really heavy bow, okay? Especially for a recurve. 3 pounds 4 ounces is more like in the area of almost some compound bows. Most of your recurves run 2 to 2.5 pounds for takedowns and around 2 pounds for your one piece, so, or less. But they're almost 3.5 pounds, that's a heavy bow, okay? It does have a lot of hand shock, and I believe that's because it's not tuned properly. If you tune it right, like I said before, that'll get rid of a lot of that hand shock. And this thing is really loud. I mean, I've never heard a bow so loud before. This bow is just like super, super loud, okay? And I can guarantee that's from these metal cup holders where these limbs sit in. There's no kind of felt or padding between the limb and the metal frame. But I mean, for $60, what do you expect? I'll buy some felt from a craft store and I'll cut some felt put in there between the limb and this. I guarantee it to quiet down quite a bit, because most sound sounded like it was coming from in here. And then I had I'll have some beaver puff silencers on it, and that should quiet it right down. Then I'll get it tuned properly, and I think it'll shoot a lot better, a lot more quiet. All right. I mean, overall, I give this bow, out of a possible 5 score, I'd give it a 4 out of 5. Okay. Reason I give it 4 out of 5 because it is really loud. They should have spent a few extra dollars and put some felt padding in there, like for instance the Black Hunter bows. They have felt padding in there, which helps quiet down quite a bit. So, but I mean, for a bow for $60 shipped to your door from Amazon for a beginner, for something throwing in the back of your truck or something just to shoot, not worry about beating up, you really can't go wrong with this bow. All right. So, anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, go ahead and click that like button for me. And also, next to that like button, you'll see a bell there. If you click that bell, I can notify you when I make my next video uploads. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. I'm constantly uploading videos, probably 2 or 3 videos a week, everything from guns to bows to survival. So be sure to look for all my new videos popping up, and be sure to review some of my older videos too. Don't forget to catch part 1 of this, the unboxing of this bow. You can see where I got it from, how it came in, so it's pretty interesting. Check that out. Well, this has been Todd with All Things Archery and Shooting. I want to thank you for watching. I want, most importantly, thank you for your support. This channel has grown quite a bit. I mean, I know 750 or whatever it is my subscribers are now. It might not seem like a lot compared to some of these YouTube guys, but to me that is amazing. It blows my mind. I mean, 750 people were thought enough to subscribe to my channel to watch my content. I want to thank you for that. So, anyway, until next time, it's been Todd, All Things Archery and Shooting. Ciao.